everyone, it's DJ JD Bass, and I'm going to do another short but sweet product review. Here I have the Crown XTI 4002. As you can see, there's three there. I use them for my live sound company, and they're a very nice amplifier, very clean, clear sound, and very powerful for the size and weight. So first up, let's go ahead and take a look at the front panel. You have your two volume knobs, one on either side. You have your PLF meters on the outside, as well as a clip light if you get into that, or thermal light if it gets too hot. Also, you have your front panel where it has three buttons, and you have your display that you can kind of see what's going on in the amplifier, see what presets you have, and it also allows you to use some of the DSP from just the front panel without having to use the software. Speaking of the software, it comes with Audio Architect, free. Actually, you can download it right off the crownaudio.com website, and I will go through that as well in just a little bit. But first up, let's take a look at some of what you can do with this front panel. Alright, so as you can see, I got my preset there, and you got your three buttons. It's going to be a little hard for you to see the buttons, but we have button 1 is the menu enter button. Button 2 is basically front or back, and front and back. Basically, you can toggle back and forth between your different selections here. So let's start off by pressing the menu enter button, and at that point you're going to see preset flash. If you hit either one of these two buttons, it's going to go back and forth between configure and preset. Okay? If you want to select a different preset that you've already got made up, you can press the enter button, and it will allow you to toggle back and forth between different presets, as you can see. Alright, and go ahead and press the one you want, or get into the one you want by pressing the enter button, and at that point you are now on a new preset. Okay, the configure area is a little bit more tricky, and I'll show you what that's all about. Go ahead and press menu button again, and go ahead and press one time to one side, and it will say configure. Press enter. Now at this point, toggling back and forth, you can go ahead and pick what you would like. You got three different options there. Okay, so we're going to use Y jack. Press enter again, and it moves you on down the chain. At this point, we have a crossover section. You can either have it off, or you can decide what kind of crossover you would like. Okay, we're just going to shut that off for now. Move on. There's an EQ out function. If you don't want to use one of these, you just move it on by pressing the enter button again. You have a delay function, and you can set that to on or off, and then you can also, if you press enter again, decide what delay you would like. And then also we have our limiter at the end, or second to last selection here, and the limiter is very easy to use. It allows you to decide. Now as you saw, because I took a couple extra seconds to decide what I was going to do, it actually shows that it jumped right back to the preset. Okay, so that's the one thing about this, this display and how it all works. You kind of have to think quickly. If you stop for just a moment, it'll jump right back to the preset, window, and now you kind of have to get, start all over. So what we have here also is a software that I've got hooked up here that's called Audio Architect, like I said, and it's hooked up through the USB. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that. And here it is, Audio Architect. And if I move this front panel here, we're going to go ahead and take a look. And you can see the amplifier here that's being shown, that it's sensing that there's an amplifier in line. And all I have is a USB cord here on the side of my computer, and that's hooked up to the back of the amplifier via the port on the back. So it uses a standard cable that you would use like on a printer, and very, very easy to find those cables. I don't think one comes with the unit, but it's still easy enough to find. So as we get into the functions here, try to focus in on it so you can read. We do have a few different options in the software that you don't have on the front panel. Okay. First of all, you got your volume. Of course, you have that on the amplifier itself. But you got two mute buttons, one here and one here. Okay, and you can mute or unmute. Alright, and then also you have your input button right here. And your input button, you double click on that, and now we have your options here, which you did see before in the front of the display, but it's a little bit easier to get an idea of what's going on right here. Very simple. Stereo, sum, or Y input. Okay, moving on here, you've got your output mode. Now that's the last thing you can decide on the front panel of the amplifier, and they happen to throw it into the second choice here for some reason. But very simple, you got dual or bridged mono. Okay, moving on through the chain, you've got the synth feature, the sub synth feature. You've got the EQ. All right, EQ section. Obviously, a lot more choices here than what you can find in the front of the amplifier. A lot easier to see some of these different features, and you can obviously just grab onto and just lift up or lower, and you can also move where you're at over here depending on what frequency you want. There's a low shelf and a high shelf filter that you can do. For instance, there's a low shelf filter, and you'll see it's going down like that, and so you can go ahead and raise or lower that right in here. We'll say we'll have it at 70 Hertz, and enter. Moves it down to 70 Hertz, changing things up a little bit. And then it gives you a lot of flexibility right in this EQ settings. So you can also bypass it or have it on. It's very easy to use. Moving forward, we have an EQ out area. I think what that does is push the EQ to the outputs as well. You have a delay function, and basically if you want to sync up your lows with your highs and you're kind of in a large area, this could come in very handy. It's got seconds, feet, and meters, and basically you can type that in and make a calculation there. That's something you might want to play with a little bit to get the right sound for what the type of room you're in. And then also, right in here, you have your limiter. Okay, now your limiter, get into that. Peak plus limiter, very well made limiter. Very simple to use. You can just set your threshold here where you want it to be, and then the attack and the release. Also, it has a volts limiter. So this is more of a brick wall limiter, basically. And so, if you're pushing the amplifier pretty hard and you have the volts limiter on, it'll really hold things down past the voltage that you have it set at. Alright, well, that is my short but sweet product review of the Crown XTI 4002. Very nice amplifier, very simple to use, and I think for the money, bang for buck, it's really hard to go wrong with that amplifier. The one thing I will say, for subwoofers, it's not really a recommended amplifier. I mean, people can use it, but essentially you have a lot of other options out there that might be better. For my subs, I am using a Crown iTech 4000. That's on the bottom here. Right there. And I'm going to be doing a review on that. And for my monitors, I use a QSC PLD 4.2 for my monitor speakers. So I'll be doing a review on that as well. So thank you for watching my product review of the Crown XTI 4002. I hope you found that informative. Try to do a little bit with the software. I didn't want to get too in depth, but there's always more time later to kind of dive into it once you own the unit, and there's a lot of features built into that program. So, a great amplifier by Crown. Thanks for watching, and subscribe.